What is going on, everybody? Today I'm driving down to Melbourne. I'm actually already here. I meant to start this intro earlier, but I kind of forgot that I was filming today since I haven't been filming at all lately. I just went to the bank. I went to Bank of America. It's like a Thursday. They close at 4 p.m. So I had to leave the bank, went to Walmart and got money orders for way too much money to give to Mr. Patrick, King of Spring Break Gooden, for some parts. So now I'm headed to Tom's shop where Pat keeps his FD car, and the thing is looking rough these days. That chassis is fucking toast. It's just like a little piece of chewed up gum with a cool engine and transmission in it. And after today, it's not even gonna have those things. So we're gonna go to Tom's shop with my buddy Tyler. He's been helping me out a bunch, and we are going to, this guy's trying to cross the road, my bad dog. We're gonna pull the engine and trans out of Pat's car, and I'm buying it for my car. I spoke about this in the last video. It is a 408 stroker engine, similar to the one that I had in the car, my LS2, the one that blew up. Similar to that engine, but with a NASCAR gearbox, the G-Force GSR gearbox. So I'm gonna get those things. There's gonna be some modifications to my chassis in order to make this gearbox work. And then also, we need a custom drive shaft. So that's gonna kind of delay everything a couple days. But the goal for tonight is to swap my heads onto this engine and get the engine and trans in the car so we can measure drive shaft length and figure out what kind of modifications need to be done. It's gonna be another long day. I have been at this shit every day for like 2 weeks. You guys haven't even seen it all because I haven't been filming because I've been so busy. Yeah, if you really love this shit, nothing will make you slow down or give up or stop. So I'm just gonna keep moving forward. Lack of sleep, lack of motivation, doesn't matter. We're gonna get it done. Should be to Tom's shop in a couple minutes. All right, guys, we have made it. Pulled out Pat's FD car. I'm gonna do a little walk around to show you guys how much abuse this chassis has taken, and it's one of the reasons why he's not driving this year, because this car is just, it's beat. What is going on? It is now the next day, and last night my memory card filled up while we were at Tom's shop, and I didn't have my laptop to clear the card, so there was no more filming. But it went well. We pulled the engine out of the car. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know that that happened. I got home at about 3 o'clock in the morning, unloaded this thing solo, which was kind of a bitch. Yeah, I didn't really talk too much about the setup earlier in the video when we went to meet Pat's car. Basically, this is an LQ9 block with a Callie's 4-inch crank, Callie's rods, Wiseco pistons, Canton oil pan. It's 11/7-to-1 compression. It was a Pro Charger on and nitrous, and it ran Q16. So you can see like the way the Q16 kind of like the race gas looks on the cylinders, and when you're pulling the injectors out, it just stinks. Some people like the smell of race gas, but so I got it out, and then in the back, this is a G-Force GSR 4-speed H-pattern dog box. This has been used in like circle track stuff, like NASCAR, stock cars, that kind of stuff. That's where these come from, and they are very expensive. I think that a new one, I want to say a new one is around $12,000 for the gearbox. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I know somebody will. But used, you get them for about $6,000. Just the box. No throwout bearing, no clutch, no flywheel, no nothing. Just the box. But the reason they're so expensive is pretty much, unless something insane happened, but this will be the last transmission I ever have to buy. Because you pull this case off here, pull this off, and inside there's just 4 dog rings, 4 gears, and a reverse gear. Actually, you want to know what? Micah Diaz. I don't know if you guys know who Micah Diaz is, but if you do, he has a YouTube channel, and he did a whole video explaining how a dog box works. And it goes really, it's a whole video about it. But basically, there's no synchros. It's called straight cut gears. And if you've ever heard like an inside footage of like an FD car and there's a really loud whine, that's because there's no synchros. Instead of the gears kind of sitting like at an angle, they're just flat and just fucking jam it in. So eventually I'll take this thing apart and show you, but you can go over to Micah's channel and check that video out. It's pretty cool. And yeah, basically they're just really easy to rebuild. It's a small gearbox. The box itself is very expensive. Like I was saying, you know, $6 grand for a used one. But the dog rings and the gears are cheap. This one actually has Andrews gears in it, which Andrews is another company that makes dog boxes, and their gears are a little bit better. So very excited about that. Engine is good. I've started. Tyler's coming over later, but right now I've just been kind of taking this thing apart. We've got our rockers off, our rocker trays, push rods are out. I've got to go and buy some standard sockets for these ARP head studs. We'll get the heads off, get the crank pulley off, and our ARP crank bolt. And then, you know, everything else is pretty much already on Pat's engine. He has a Canton oil pan, but for some reason he painted it black. Look at how sick that one looks. Pat, dog, why does this look like that? It doesn't look very nice. But I'm going to leave this one on here because somebody hopefully is going to buy the short block, and then they can figure out what's wrong with it, rebuild it, do whatever they want, selling it on the low. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm waiting for Tyler to get here, and then we're going to get cracking. So Tyler and me just ran to Harbor Freight. We got a new little shop cart, tool cart, and some 12-point sockets, and some oil and some other stuff. So yeah, right now I'm just going to take off the heads. Here's one. Everything still looks good. Thank God, even though it ran with no oil. Get into the heads. Everything looks good in here. So I'm going to get this other one off, and we're going to start transferring everything over to that engine. Give it a good thorough wipe down, clean up, and hopefully get that and that by the end of this video. I got the lifters, lifter trays, heads, head studs, everything off this engine. The last thing to take off is the crank pulley and ARP crank bolt. And I'm going to use the hardware from my front cover because Pat has a bunch of like mismatched stuff. So in order to do that, I got to take off the transmission so that we can get a pry bar on the flywheel to break that loose. The heads look good, by the way. And then over here, we're just going to do a quick little wipe down, blow the engine out with air, throw the lifters and lifter trays in, and then wipe down everything else, put the head studs on, throw the head gaskets on, and the heads on. It's really not that much. Just got to figure out how this gearbox is going to fit in the tunnel of my car. It's going to be interesting for sure. It's not very wide at all. It's actually a lot skinnier than the CD09, but it's definitely taller right in the middle section here. All right, little progress update. I did a YouTube live earlier to kind of show everybody what it was doing. So if you were a part of that, shout out to you. We got the heads on now. just got to throw the nuts on the studs. We were waiting on Matt to bring us some head studs, and he did. He delivered. And so now we're going to torque down these head studs and probably not put the rockers on until the engine is in the car. But get the heads on and get them all torqued down right. We got our crank pulley on. We got the ARP bolt in there. But we can't tighten that up till it's in the car. So yeah, making progress. And it's like 1:30 in the morning. Just normal shit around here. It's 4 a.m. and the engine's in the car. The only thing is, we had this tranny mount that we thought was going to work. It didn't work. So the transmission's kind of just in there, and the engine actually has to come up again, not out. Just lift it up so that we can snake the steering rack back in, because this big, huge bell housing didn't fit. But it looks pretty cool. Check this out. Boom. We'll make some sort of like plate that goes around the bottom of the shifter there. But for now, it's in there and looks really fucking badass. So I'm really stoked about that. And yeah, it sucks. There's only so much time in the day, but you know, do what you can. And I'd rather, you know, take the time to do everything right, make sure everything's torqued to spec, and hopefully not run into any issues like we have in the past. So, you know, fingers crossed, and big shout out to Tyler for helping me. And we're gonna keep at it tomorrow Saturday. We don't have to be anywhere till Monday, so we have plenty of time to kind of go over, well, I wouldn't say plenty of time, but we've got time to go over everything and get it ready to go to the fab shop and get that mount made, get that plate for the shifter, and any other little bits and pieces that we need to tackle. Only a little less than a month. Yeah, a little less than a month before VIR, so gotta get this thing going, gotta go testing. We got the tires to go testing, go to the dyno, and shoot up to Atlanta for FD. I'll be at Orlando FD and Atlanta FD, so if you want to come out, say hi, I'll be around, and should be exciting. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.